Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Listen, Romero is out here defending Ryan the Cheat Garcia. And that's his right. My thing is, I don't think Ryan deserves any pity. It's also my belief that Ryan Garcia doesn't care about anyone except himself. I don't understand how people are coming to the defense of this guy. He showed you his true colors. In addition to that, he showed you the measures that he would go to win a boxing match. Romero is not special. Trust me, if Ryan Garcia would not have got caught cheating against Devin, and he went into this fight with Rolly, even coming off a year suspension, Ryan would have been on the cocktail. He would have cheated him. You take a look at Ryan Garcia when he returned to the sport of boxing after him having this mental health crisis. Fought the African, couldn't put a dent in the African. He and Oscar De La Hoya talking about how tough the African was and how the African took his shots. Let me tell you something. Ryan Garcia can hit with that left hook. But Ryan Garcia, he's not Deontay Wilder. Okay? After he fought that African, I mentioned this in other videos, but at the time I was saying, look, I need to let it play out. I don't have much to say about Ryan. Let it play out. Anyway, after the African, like I said in other videos, I think that's when Ryan picked back up on juicing, because that's when he started, getting back to knocking people out with one shot. Got caught with Devin. Trust me, if he wouldn't got caught with Devin, he would have cheated against Rolly. But you see Ryan crying and everybody trying to get a GoFundMe for a pity party for Ryan Garcia. And Rolly is I think the thing with Rolly is he's defending Ryan, I think, because Rolly knows what it feels like to be bullied, to be laughed at, to be humiliated. Remember, Romero didn't really start speaking until he was like 11 years old. Rolly didn't have any friends growing up. Okay? Then he had this word explosion, and he never turned back. But I think Rolly really knows what it's like to have people bully him and be mean to him. And when you watch Romero in his whole career, no one's really taking him serious. Could be because he's kind of quirky, because sometimes when you talk to him, you don't get much intelligence out of him. I think Rolly was doing things before to just troll, entertain, and to just have fun in interviews. But what you've seen recently from Rolly is him being more serious. When he answers questions, he's definitely more articulate and more thoughtful in his responses. But believe you me, if Rolly would have lost to Ryan, even if he won but got knocked down or got hurt, boxing fans, boxing media would be having a field day at Rolly's expense. Nobody cares about Rolly Romero. He's forced people to pay attention to him. And you know what sucks about this? Is deep down, Rolly's a good dude. You watch Rolly. People can say what they want about Rolly. His dad's always with him. He looked just like his pops. His mom is always with him. I think his sister, his niece, it's really a family affair. See, I peeped that a long time ago. I remember when I first heard Rolly Romero speak Spanish, I knew then there was something special about Rolly and the closeness he has to his family. Because I said, yo, this man grew up with his mother and father from Cuba, mother Black American, and they're in America, and the mother still ensured that her children spoke Spanish. Now, of course, Rolly's dad, he don't speak a whole lot of English, but he speaks English. But I'm sure at the time where the mother met him, he probably didn't speak much English. But what I'm getting at is, I just understand that. And I said, that to me spoke volumes about his family dynamic. Anyway, when you really peel it back to understand what the hell happened with Ryan and Rolly, let's not look to what happened this weekend. Let's take it back several months ago when they were announcing the fights. Even I said Ryan has the easiest fight, first round knockout. 99.9% of the boxing fans and boxing media felt that Ryan Garcia had a walk in the park fight against Rolly. I truly believe Rolly was picked for Ryan so Ryan can look really good to help repair the damage to his image as a result of the positive Osterine test, and almost to get that win to kind of sweep that stuff under the rug and make Devin still look like a pussycat, like a whiner, like a guy who with his dad and Victor Conti were able to influence Vada and make Ryan's test come back in a positive. So check this out. You guys know that Rolly Romero, after he beat Ryan, this is what makes this whole thing interesting, right? As Rolly Romero beats Ryan, he becomes a WBA World Welterweight Champion. You guys know that belt at 147. You know what that was intended for, or who that was intended for, don't you? That belt was intended for Ryan Garcia. That was his opportunity to come off of that drama, that chaos with Devin, the 1-year suspension, and walk right into a fight with an easy opponent and pick up a piece of the 147 hardware WBA World Welterweight title. This was all set up for Ryan to look like the next De La Hoya. Matter of fact, if you look at how he how he was knocking down Devin, that shit did look like Oscar De La Hoya. I mean, people try to draw comparisons to him. They're both Mexican-American, have a large fan base, and have the big left hook. But I'm gonna say this. As far as boxing, right, there really is no comparison between Rolly and Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya, say what you want about all the shit that surfaced about Oscar after he retired. Oscar De La Hoya was a monster. That mug get in that ring with them short shorts on, he started getting up on his toes, tuck his chin, and Oscar De La Hoya would go to work. Ryan's not that guy. And you know what, to be honest with you, I've never heard anything about De La Hoya possibly taking pads. Never. You heard stuff about Mayweather putting stuff in his hands. We all know about Shane Mosley and the issues he had. We've heard stuff about Canelo. Felix Trinidad, you heard about him in illegal raps. But for De La Hoya, I've never heard anything about him doing anything dirty as far as to try to get an advantage, illegally when it comes to boxing. So there's no comparison between De La Hoya and Ryan. But could you guys have imagined, right? For Rolly Romero, the secret society is in full effect. Look at what this man told us. As far as the lodging arrangement, the rooms, that wasn't situated, no money in escrow. He and his family were treated less than how Zab Judah was treated when Zab Judah was going to fight Danny Garcia. Y'all remember that? Zab Judah was pissed. Came out there to the press conference. De La Hoya was talking. Zab Judah got up on the stage, started lighting up De La Hoya like he wanted to fight him. Bernard Hopkins had to interject. But Rolly was treated like a red-headed stepchild. So the secret society just figured Rolly was a cherry pick. They're going to make sure Ryan was happy. He was taken care of. If you look at all the advertisement, it was Canelo's skull, Ryan and Rolly, but they were showing Ryan's face and Canelo's face. That's it. Rolly was nowhere. They weren't interviewing Rolly. They weren't putting him up on billboards. They didn't show Rolly no love. No love, man. So my thing is this. Let's see what the next move is. Because really, Rolly as a WBA World Welterweight Champion, Boots is supposed to fight Giasov, who's his mandatory. My thing is, who's Rolly going to fight next? Is Rolly going to rematch Ryan Garcia? Because when you take a look at this, Boots Ennis is a WBA Super Welterweight Champion. Super World Welterweight Champion. Rolly's the WBA World Welterweight Champion. So that means they got to fight. But Giasov is the mandatory. Then Ryan Garcia was ranked. So Giasov's number one, the mandatory. Rolly's ranked number two, but he's the WBA World Welterweight Champion. Ryan was ranked number three. He'll probably fall off. Devin's ranked number four. Then Jose Ramirez ranked number five. I'm sure he'll fall off. Number six is Stanley Eunice. And then Conor Ben is ranked number 7. So what I see possibly happening here is Rolly Romero, with that belt he has, he's either going to fight Conor Ben, Stanley Eunice. Well, Conor Ben's ranked number 7. Stanley Eunice is ranked number 6. Ramirez is ranked number 5. He's going to fall off. Devin Haney's ranked number 4. If Ryan Garcia and Devin don't fight, Devin and Rolly should be the fight to make. And I'm going to tell y'all this. I don't think they'll make Ryan, they won't make Rolly against Devin because they know Rolly will beat him. And even I think Devin knows he can't beat Rolly. Devin's confidence is gone. So I want to see what the secret society does with Rolly Romero. How are they going to treat him? Are they going to put him in a situation where he's going to lose? Now, Conor Ben, I don't think Conor Ben should rematch Eubank Jr. The fight happened. It was a great fight. It's over. I just think some things you leave alone. But if Conor Ben comes down to 147 to fight Rolly, that's a real good fight. And that's going to be a tough fight for Rolly. Rolly can win, but Ryan was afraid to let his hands go. One thing about Conor Ben, I believe Conor Ben's going to let his hands go. I'm not saying he beats Rolly. I just think that's a really good fight and a fight the secret society would want, especially because Eddie Hearn is part of that secret society, and they're going to view that as a winnable fight for Conor. I just don't think Rolly Romero is going to have an opportunity to hold on to that WBA World Welterweight strap that he picked up because the secret society never wanted him to win it. They don't like him. You know how many people out here calling Rolly Romero dumb and stupid? Now all of a sudden these same people want to sit here and talk about we needed Rolly, and Rolly is what boxing needs. He's a breath of fresh air. Rolly's a true champion. This is what a real champion acts, how a true champion acts and behaves. And this is, yeah, we always knew Rolly had it in him. No, you didn't. Man, nobody took him serious. But I think people have realized when it comes to Rolly Romero at 135, he doesn't really say much about it. But he did mention a little bit about the weight cut and just suggesting that when he was at 135, he should have been at 140. And what I took from that is he had to kill himself to get there. At 140, fighting Pitbull Cruz, he didn't talk about it. He didn't give us a peek behind the tent flaps on what he had to go through to make that weight. But he did mention that he should have never fought at 140. So when you listen to Rolly, and I think Rolly, out of all of these guys, I think he's the most truthful. Rolly Romero just may be at a weight to where he's the most comfortable and there's no excuses for a win or a loss. And I think that's great. But I do think Rolly, when it comes to that chin, they're going to try to put him in there with someone who can get to that chin. And I understand people saying, oh, well, he's with Salas now, and that's why Rolly was able to outbox Ryan. Look, Rolly didn't, I don't think it's what Rolly Romero was doing, it's what Ryan wasn't doing, which he wasn't punching. It was like Joseph Parker and Deontay Wilder. It's not really what Joseph Parker did. It's what Wilder didn't do. And as a result, Parker did what he was supposed to do, which is let his hands go. But he still didn't let his hands go as much as he could have. But Deontay was moving. In a situation with Rolly, I think he could have still been a bit more aggressive, but even Rolly, he showed patience, he showed maturity, and he also knew, because if he says Ryan Garcia can crack with that left hand, that means that Ryan Garcia really can't hit with that left hand. But again, for me, it goes back to Ryan Garcia and just him cycling and taking pads and stuff. And how often was he doing it? When was he off the cycle? So it's hard for me to give Ryan Garcia all the credit that I want to give him for that left hand, even though he's always had a left hand since a kid. But the one-hitter quitter that he showed us against Fortuna, against Duarte, and also the shot that he was hitting Devin with, where'd that go? Yeah, he get Luke Campbell in the body shot, but I'm just saying, where'd it go? For Rolly, I don't think Rolly's going to, I think he's going to really have to fight hard to hold on to that belt. I just think when you look at boxing, you look at the landscape of boxing, you look at champions in the different weight divisions, I just feel like Rolly Romero has been depicted as a cartoon character so much to where he doesn't fit into the boxing landscape of champions. He doesn't fit there. Think about Brian Norman Jr. He fits. Boots Ennis fits. Even Barrios fits. But Rolly at 147, he doesn't fit there. Even Rolly at 140, he didn't fit. Everybody clowned him. He's the weakest champion. Nobody took him serious. Nobody. At 135, they clowned him. Oh, because he's with Mayweather Promotion, they hooked him up with a title. 140, they hooked him up with the Barrosos title. They stopped the fight prematurely. Barrosos was one shot away from hurting Rolly and stopping him again. Rolly was behind on the scorecards. Anyway, Rolly came to defend Ryan because Rolly knows what it's like to have people humiliate him, to kick you while you're down. And Rolly's choosing not to do that with Ryan. But I'm telling you right now, if the shoe was on the other foot, Ryan Garcia would be shitting on Rolly. He does not care about him. Ryan Garcia, I'm convinced from listening to him and watching how he moves, he and his dad, they don't care about nothing or no one. They just care about themselves. But good job to Rolly. He being professional. And look, forget the hood champion character. As the man that I am, I would probably be the same way as Rolly. Just when I do interviews, I'd be professional. I will show support to Ryan, and that's it. Away from the interview, talking to people within my intimate circle, that's where I probably say, yeah, they didn't give me a chance. I know he would have kicked me when I was down, X, Y, and Z. That's where I probably open up, but I probably wouldn't do it being interviewed. I'd probably take the same route as Rolly because the human being that I am, that's how my heart and mind is made up. You know what I'm saying? But with the hood champion character, we're talking boxing. No, I'm gonna come out here and probably speak with a little more emotion. Because I know after dealing with thousands of people at different levels, right? With my background, I am telling you, Ryan Garcia, I've seen guys like him over and over and over again. 365 days a year. You're talking about in a leap year. You can be the give them what they want. You can be the favorite person. That 366 day, that one day out of a year, a leap year, you don't give them what they want, do what they want, say what they want to hear. All of a sudden, they shit on you. They have bad things to say about you. They're a nasty person, nasty character. So I don't feel bad for Ryan Garcia. I think everything that's happening to him, he's earned it. Now, this thing about Ryan Garcia returning, him rematching Rolly, I think that's dumb. Ryan's not going to change. He's afraid to get hit by Rolly. But as far as Ryan, if he fights Devin and he beats Devin, then that tells us that Ryan Garcia was never on pads. That's not true. If Ryan fought Devin, do I think Ryan would beat Devin right now? I think he would beat Devin. Now you may say, well, why do you say that? I'm going to tell you why. Because, man, Devin looks like he doesn't want to get hit. That's the only reason why. Now, I think Devin needs to fight Ryan. And when they get in the ring, he needs to scrap with him. I mean, be smart, but don't run. But Devin needs to get a victory over Ryan. I just think Ryan still gets him. Anyway, keep cool. I'm in the breeze.